1, 2, 3, let's go.
Wednesday afternoon, hoping you will tune into our show.
In certain situations, we feel emotional, and I guess that probably means that we're not too far from tears. If we're feeling particularly emotional about something, whatever it is, whether for better or worse, really, we may not be far from tears. And I've watched a few of these TikTok videos. And first of all, it's a wedding, so it may be in a church, it may be in some quite ornate surroundings where people can get married pretty much anywhere nowadays. And always a beautiful song. I mean, one that they play sometimes to a choir singing "Can't Help Falling in Love," the old Elvis Presley song. And it's actually part of that song is actually played at Crystal Palace now before matches, about how much you love somebody or the team. So it's a wonderful song, and when you hear it played by a choir, beautifully arranged, it stirs the emotions. Anyway, so the video starts, and first of all you see the bridegroom, this will be you, of course, standing next to his best man, and he's very dapper, he's very smart with his carnation flower, looking slightly edgy, again in emotion of anxiety, good anxiety, I guess, nervousness, which makes us all a bit jittery. Jitters is another body reaction, of course, which we don't plan, like the butterflies, but that's what he's going to feel, looking immaculately smart. And then keep in mind this beautiful song is playing, and then the camera switches to the bride, who suddenly appears at the door with her father. He's going to walk her down the aisle or up, whatever, wherever they are, towards the groom. And as soon as the groom catches sight, I mean, in a way, you're supposed to be looking forward in some circumstances, but they all sort of sneak a peek at their wife-to-be. And it's quite, anyone thinking about emotions, it's a very interesting thing to watch, because you see this otherwise very smart man in control of his emotions, looking a little bit nervous, as you would. And suddenly he sees his wife looking utterly beautiful in her wedding dress, and her dad looking very proud as they walk towards him. And in all of these cases, I mean, I guess they only put on the video the ones where this happens, but I bet it happens more than we realise. He suddenly can't help himself. He starts to sort of try and avoid crying visibly, but he can't. His tears coming down his face, and sometimes the man will go down on his haunches almost, or bend over, because he's suddenly having emotion coursing through him in the whole reality of what, and you'll experience this, the whole reality of what's happening to you. You're marrying the love of your life, and as she gets nearer, and eventually they kind of go into each other's arms, which is nice to see. But the emotion that goes through both of them, but particularly the man when he sees her, has to be seen to be believed. And the point I'm making is they can't control it. You cannot control that when you get that utter ecstasy, elation, pure joy right at the top end of that spectrum. It's brilliant, because no matter whether you're a man or a woman, or people who say, I don't show my emotions, which a lot of people say, there are circumstances where we can't avoid it. We cannot avoid it, because we are overcome. So I commend anyone to watch those on TikTok, because they're very, very moving. And even as an observer of that, yeah, I mean, I guess I've always been a fairly open guy with, I talk about emotions. I do. I have no problem with that. And I think, you know, for me, for example, changing the subject slightly, what will give me an incredible high is if I knew I was going to perform my music.
1, 2, 3, let's go.
Wednesday afternoon, hoping you will tune into our show. It's hosted by Cuz. He'll introduce the gang who'll make the show go with a bang. With fun
Music, my songs, say an arena, and it was coming up, and as it got nearer, I would get all those bodily effects. I'd start to get nervous, butterflies and jitters, but at the same time, and of course, all that fueled by adrenaline the nearer the event gets, and all the stage fright, the nervousness, but that becomes the drug. And yeah, for me, that would be the height of elation to actually achieve, like someone who gets their book published, or that would really be incredible. So I think we do look for those moments. And another time I can think of, which we talked about before, and we go back to football briefly, when my team, Crystal Palace, when they won their first major trophy last year, the FA Cup. So Wembley is about 85,000 people. You probably get about 35,000 of each team, us and Manchester City, and then you get the prawn sandwich brigade, or the people who get tickets from the FA. Fair enough. And but anyway, Palace scored in the first half, and we were playing probably one of the best teams in the country, Manchester City. You can imagine the last 10, 15 minutes of the second half, it was still 1-0 to Palace. It became almost a nightmare. Are we going to hold out against this oncoming brilliant team, Manchester City? And when the final whistle went, a lot of people were videoing this, including my Lucy. I mean, she's not a regular football fan, but she came along to the final, and she wanted to record all of our group, including her sister Kimberly, at that final whistle, as many other people did. And when I watched the TV programs of it, the copies of it later on Match of the Day, the cameras focused in. And when I was standing there, I was conscious that I think I'm going to blub. That moment, it was like ecstasy that Palace have actually won. It's so built up into all this. Adrenaline was flying about, and I thought, and then you look round and everybody is crying. And this video that Lucy did, she sort of panned it round the crowd quite slowly, and virtually everybody was in emotional tears. You could see that, perhaps the men more than the women, but I don't want to be seen to be crying, but you couldn't help yourself, a bit like the bridegroom. You could not, that moment, they don't come along very often in life like that, but you could not help yourself but feel this surge of joy. I mean, to non-football fans, it might sound a bit silly, but when you're invested in your team and have been for years, it is an incredible moment, and you can't help yourself. And so that's really a great time, I think, to something like that, to experience what we all aim for in life, a great experience like that, which pumps the adrenaline. So, okay, moving on.
1, 2, 3, let's go.
Wednesday afternoon, hoping you will tune into our show. It's hosted by Cuz. He'll introduce the gang who'll make the show go with a bang.